Good evening and welcome to the new normal season of Let's Talk with Dok Dinno. Glad to be back on air and starting the season right with a new format and new medium of correspondence with important local, national, international personalities and the latest developments and positive news directly affecting Dumaguete City. As a starter, we'll have for tonight our guest, the City Mayor of Dumaguete, my boss, Mayor Felipe Antonio B. Remollo, to tell and define for us more the goings on in the city and matters which I'm sure most of our viewers would like to know directly from the mayor himself, especially on tonight's issue on keeping Dumaguete safe from COVID-19. Mayang gabi, Mayor, and welcome to the season's opener episode of Let's Talk with Dok Dinno.
Mayang gabi, Dino, and mayang gabi usab sa atong imong mga fans, imong mga televiewers under this new format. I'm very excited to guest in your program once again, but now on a in a new format. Itawag what do you call this? Via Zoom.
Format.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom.
Okay.
It's been some time, sir, since we last talked. As we were very busy with ECQ until today. No? I'm glad that Let's Talk is back on air. And the most important thing is for us to talk to you and update our viewers of what's going on in Dumaguete City. Anyways, for my first question, sir, it has almost been 6 months from the time of the pandemic ECQ in Dumaguete. And now we are on an MGCQ already. Why is it that the city government, working with city's IATF or Interagency Task Force, has maintained a set of stringent rules for LSI, APOR, and OFWs that are times, for a fact, it's unpopular, sir?
Why? Miyagi na tag ECQ as a starter, no? And then for a time, GCQ, General Community Quarantine.
Yes.
Now MGCQ for the longest time, no? Among other cities and provinces.
Yes.
Now, we have to be consistent now that the good news is, despite all odds, I'm happy to announce that Dumaguete, for the past almost a month already,
Correct.
0 COVID case sa Dumaguete.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And this could not have happened without the indispensable efforts, enthusiasm, and dedication of all our frontliners.
That's right.
Namely our city health officials, our tourism officials and staff, our tourist management group, our police force, our PIO, and the rest of the official dam of the city of Dumaguete, especially the volunteers and the barangay officials who were one with us in this fight against COVID. No? And it's not because we are we have managed the spread of COVID-19 with more reason that we really have to be even stricter or maintain our protocols so that dili ta balikan o pag-usap, balik na sa, God forbid, GCQ or ECQ. Some cities and places in the country, after gaining the GCQ or MGCQ status, went back to GCQ or even MECQ or ECQ. So di ta ganang mahitabo na. Especially so that Dumaguete, as part of Negros Oriental, is surrounded by COVID hotspots like Cebu City, the whole province of Cebu, some parts of Mindanao, and now Bacolod and Iloilo. Bacolod, same island ta, no? So by God's grace and uh, and the full cooperation of our people, and including the province of Negros Occidental and the mayors and officialdom of the province, um, we have maintained. I mean, we have been. I should be proud to say that we are among the maybe top cities in the province, in the whole country, that have successfully so far been successful in preventing the spread of COVID-19 in our city. Considering that Dumaguete is the gateway to the province, and that we have it is only in Dumaguete that we have the tertiary hospitals, and tanang mga COVID cases, kung magpa-hospital sila, ani sa Dumaguete ang bagsak nila, no? So we are doubly burdened with what happens in our neighboring municipalities and cities of the province.
Correct. Many, I know for a fact, sir, that many city mayors nationwide, some more on the region, call you up and ask you, ano bang yung sikreto mo? Why is it that Dumaguete has been COVID-free for some time, really? And until now, what advice do you tell them? What do you...
Well, technically, COVID-free is that, dili kita COVID-free, but zero COVID cases for the past months. Once in a while, we get some cases brought about by the entry of LSIs, no? Locally studied individuals, even the authorized personnel on authorized the APORs, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the even foreign OFWs and foreigners, returning foreigners. I'm very particular with APORs, okay, because these are most of them are the government officials on duty.
Correct.
Yes, and there are really conflict. It's not really conflicting, but directives from either regional or national ITF that really sometimes frustrates me because they think in their enthusiasm and effort to rather to facilitate the entry of these personnel officials into our city, they forget that this COVID does not exempt a pores from being infected. Every now and then you hear mga PNP personnel and doctors, even other officials, no, high government officials infected with COVID. So we should be well, I instruct my people to be polite in saying that you follow the local protocols, no, and advisories or local IATF, even if national directs otherwise, because modesty aside, we know our city and our situation better. Dili tanan nga mga directives sa national or sa regional would aptly apply to our city. Kay lain man ta, each city or municipality are differently situated. So kinahanglan yun nga mapatigbabaw ay mo-govern ang atong local protocols.
Okay. Now, sir, a few days back, si President Duterte has recently extended the state of calamity, no, for one more year, September 13, 2020 to September 13, 2021. Now, let me ask you, ano yung implication of this declaration to our economic recovery efforts, sir?
Well, first of all, the 1-year extension of the President's Declaration of National Health Calamity is a realization that wala pa gyud nato na on a national scope, no, on a national scale, di pag yun confident ang presidente nga under control na niya ang situation. He is so careful about it. That's why the extension. Now, even if a COVID vaccine is available, the president is playing safe that he has to extend it, and it definitely will affect the national economy. But on the local economy, if we are able to maintain the zero COVID cases, okay, and we get the support of our people and maintain our protocols, we might be among the first to go back to the new. I mean, to open ourselves to business, tourists, under the new normal. Okay, so we're very fortunate, but wala na na-realize sa kadaghanan sa atong mga kaigsunan diri sa Dumaguete. Katuo sila nga tingali sila nga sayon raning or dali na tong nahimo nato, no? But we all know na you are part of it, with sleepless nights, to having to contend with bashers and the non-believers and those who think otherwise. Kay first time ang hitabo sa tibok kalibutan, and fortunately or unfortunately na natungon nga during our administration. So kitong mga officials in this era nga naabtag COVID, doubly tested ang ilang abilidad or ang ilang composure on how to countenance this pandemic. Kay kung ordinaryo ka lang leader, you will panic, mawad-an ka og composure, okay, you will give up, and you will run amok, or di na nato ma-describe. Daghang kayo mga leaders nga nawad-an og composure because of this pandemic. But well, it will also test all of us on how dedicated our people and how serious we are in this crisis, and the spirit of cooperation. Mao tay magpatigbabaw kanang negativity mayo ra na kung after ka ma-swab negative COVID, okay na mo na negativity nga atong gi-welcome, negative COVID. Pero negativity in other aspects, dili ta mo wad focus nga we have the biggest problem that we're facing. We are not a perfect system, na ay mga lapses, but on the whole, I can honestly say, and the unfolding of some events nga kita karon, we can go out now, we can dine in, we can exercise at Boulevard, we can play sports, simply because from the beginning we were able to arrest we were able to formulate a system nga na dili gyud mo spread ang COVID virus, no matter how hard it was, no matter how difficult we had to go, things that we had to go through sa social media. All walks of life. I had to, among the many others, to take the heat. Okay? Ato na nang giantos ng kuan, ato lang gi-accept ang reality. Dili gyud nato ma-please ang tanang tao. But if you are focused, as we did, as we are focused, the results will speak for themselves. No? Ang akong giingon sa una, di na ta maglalis kung mabuhi ng tanan after the COVID crisis or after this pandemic. Unya na ta murag review, no? O mag-assess if what we did or the things we did were all right, or we failed in some things.
Sir, you met recently with some of the business personnel or people in Dumaguete City. Briefly, maybe you can share ano yung napag-usapan niyo
That
dun
was
sa
one of
forum
our
niyo.
latest activities, no? That was, I think, 2 days ago, Thursday, Friday, or yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Thursday, Friday, sir.
Thursday, Friday, it was initiated by our tourism and our health departments. We had to reorient, and also the DTI. No? We had to reorient our stakeholders in the field of tourism, atong mga tagiya o mga managers sa hotels and restaurants, no? To reorient them of the latest situation in Dumaguete and the protocols and the advisories, mga directives from the National IATF in relation to our local directives, no? We had to reconcile certain aspects of mas may puto kay open ta sa mga, it was a nice dialogue with them para magkasinabtanay, and we get the full cooperation of our stakeholders na sila mismo will learn or will learn to police their own establishments. I'm so inspired and happy that they themselves are one with us in policing their customers, their employees, and the whole management of their own businesses. First of all, we had to establish a command center 24 hours, no? And with your help, and, our personnel, our volunteers, bilib ko sa atong mga tao, SKs, they were all there in the office, no? 24/7. And walay tulugay. Okay, they're answering calls from our constituents, and we were preparing, no, the ito mga queue passes nato nga gilaminate pa, napay QR code, atong itong gipreparahan. And we had to limit the number. We had to establish checkpoints and make sure that even to the extent of requiring motorists to present their driver's licenses or original certificates of registration, daghan tang nadakpan nga sa mga checkpoints, those who were not following instructions, and make sure that before they enter our checkpoints, they have this face mask, and they observe social distancing and this disinfectant, or they wash their hands, napot yung mga disinfectants. And especially we had to protect the market, make sure that the market and the major grocery stores, malls were observing the protocols. Also, to prevent overcrowding sa ato mga establishments, we allowed market vendors and those from the barangays to open up mga talipapas all over the city. And it helped decongest the market. So, because we learned from the experience of other cities, nakita na to at early on, Davao and Cebu, to name a few, nga dito nagsugod sa market itong ilang contamination. Okay, overcrowding, especially nga diha nang hatag ang gobyerno og social amelioration funds. Kitong SAP, social amelioration program. Okay, 6,000 kada usa. In Dumaguete, we were able to serve over 24 to 25,000 at 6,000 per qualified beneficiary. We were ready for 29, but ang qualified nato 29,000. Ang may qualified lang mga little over 25,000. Now, imagine if all of these people after receiving the money, most shop dito sa Changi and itong sa atong mga malls o mga department stores o major grocery stores. Overcrowding dayon, no? That's why we had to devise a scheme, and it worked well. Nga pag-distribute nato dili tanan in one day. We had to do it in I think at least 3 weeks per barangay nga per day mga diba mga about mga 1,000 2,000 per day so that dili ma-overcrowded ang atong establishments. So we succeeded there, and that's why nalipay pud ko even in the distribution we observe social distancing or physical distancing. Gisundo pag mga buses nato with all the works, no, dito sa atong Burgos Street. All those who were there were well behaved. Okay? Naglingkod sila under our tents, no? Our city treasurer nato, yung mga kauban dito, the SWD, were there to distribute. I was also thankful that walay mga politiko ang nagpa-starring, no? I would thank my co-elected officials, no? Wag gid sila not a single moment nga mitungha any of the elected officials na parang papel ba sa distribution, which also showed a decency in among our city officials.
Now, talking about the youth sector, sir, no, how effective were the SK leaders in the implementation of the city's coronavirus response and initiatives?
Well, they were also frontliners. In fact, naiprograma ang atong SKs sa mga barangays. They were assisting in the mga talipapa, no? The selling of it started actually with them. Itong selling of vegetables, fish, mga goods by the SKs, helping the barangay officials, no? Okay, and gitabangan nila ilang mga constituents in selling some different barangays. That's why spread out ang atong distribution of goods dili lang sa main market but dito na sa mga kabarangayan. In fact, I think our SK sa Barangay 8 to the leadership of Renz Masion na awardan, na-recognize nationally sa ilang mga initiatives nga ato pong gisuportaan. Atong sa SKs nato through the leadership of our SK and Councilor Danny Tolentino,
Correct.
They were at the forefront in helping us in the distribution of the SAP. Okay? Instrumental sila.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
distribution sa mga
Now
bugas.
speaking of yes,
Oh.
yes. Speaking of the bugaser, now how was the city government able to reach and distribute rice subsidy to 30,000 households in 4 waves to mitigate the impact of COVID-19, sir? Maybe you can
Well,
share that.
there were, yes, there were, we started with 5 kilos per household, no? And uh, lately, itong mga wala kadawat sa SAP, regardless of their status in life, per family, per household, nakadawat sila o 25 kilos per household. No? And napay sobra na siya, padugagan na lang nato para kitong napod nga nakadawat og SAP, nakadawat na pod og 25 kilos per household. No? I will check kung sa pila gyud na nabilin sa 30,000 nga bags per 25 kilos each ang na-distribute ang nahabilin para matagaan na po itong mga nakadawat og SAP para tabang yun nila. Kaya now is ano mataron, almost end of September, third week of September, hapit na pong October, no? Hapit ang fiesta, basig magamit po na nila ilang kanang atong subsidy, ang rice subsidy. Okay.
That's good to hear, sir. Now, yung height sa ICQ, yung city government uh, fed more than 1,000 employees and volunteers na mga enforcers daily. Now, how was the task force able to do that when most establishments at that time were on a lockdown and their workers were forced out of work?
Yeah, I mean, not perfect, but I think we passed with flying colors. Why? Because tanan atong napakaon, including the barangay tanods, all the volunteers, we just had difficulty in feeding those at our checkpoints. No? 18 checkpoints all over the city. Abot na sa mga boundary Bakong, Dumaguete, boundary Valencia, Dumaguete, boundary Sibulan, Dumaguete. No? Lisod ka na i-distribute because you have to be on time. Okay, sa buntag, we started with 6 for breakfast, 6 o'clock, and distribution, 10:30 sa lunch o about 4:30 sa gabi. So we had to devise a scheme nga tulo ka grupo ang nag-spread out para dili makakaon gud sila on time ang atong volunteers. That's the only way that's the only thing that would give them would sustain them, no? That's the least we can do to show our appreciation. Hindi po sila magutman. Para po dili na sila muli silang balay kay ato matunggiman ang checkpoint strictly. Diha nato na control ang inflow of people, especially from the other cities and municipalities that are coming into Dumaguete. No? So, kagyo kayo kanang it was a hell of a job for our volunteers to be able to to be able to maintain the checkpoints. In fact, I'd like to thank the mayors and other officials of the different towns and cities of the province because they cooperated. No? Diha po tayo scheme nga pag sa north, gikan ka sa north, 3 days na ka makasulod sa Dumaguete. Gikan ka sa south, okay? South of Dumaguete, another 3 days. MWF, TTHS, Sundays, pwede nang duha. So may cooperate po ang atong mga kaigsunan sa Negros Oriental. And that helped put order in our control of not just traffic but the coming in, going out of people sa atong mga malls and major groceries for the essentials. They can only go in because of for essentials, no? Food and medicine. Otherwise, hipo sila sa ilang balay because of also of our mga senior citizens, hipos. You can only go out for basic essentials and none other purpose. Okay? So, well, we looking back, no? Looking back, I couldn't imagine we survived sa atong gibuhat nga nakita we were proven tama ang atong ihimo. Itong mga ubang cities, especially Metro Manila, nga ang paggama nila sa queue passes o pag-distribute, Cebu, murag late na sila nga may stricto muna nakaspread itong virus sa ila. Kaya kita mo pa yung unang gilambas sa mga sa social media, sa media, mainstream, mga tao mismo, nga nakalitan po sila ni ining itong virus. No? Even the doctors were very critical of us. No? Doctors, lawyers, puro mga bright people were lambasting us. But looking back, well, nabuhi ta. And karon, zero COVID case. Hopefully, i-maintain na ito na para makabalik na kita sa new normal. I want, we emphasize during our session with the stakeholders last Thursday and Friday. We want business to recover. Ani ang atong mga masahista, tempura vendors, pedicab drivers, i-resume na sila on a limited scale, but nakita nila nga ang mga even the IATF advisories and directives wala gali na itong strictly follow, atong gi-innovate to conform or to fit our local conditions.
Yes. Now, sir, unlike some LGUs no, sa Dumaguete City managed to find the required amount of about 18.5 million to provide hazard pay to more than 1,000 employees na to, sir, no? Who volunteered, no? And who reported to work despite the pandemic. Now, but the hazard pay is not mandatory, so it depends on the LGU. What motivated you, sir, to prioritize granting of the benefits?
We always take care of our people. Credit should be given when due. Dako guys sila ikatabang. Wala pa nagtrabaho tong atong mga employees. We won't be successful in managing the SAP, itong atong isolation centers, our round the clock ta, no? Kantong atong mga medical and medical sector, itong mga kining mga disaster group, no? Round the clock sila mag PPEs to go to the airport, to go to the pier and the bus terminals para kitong mutagbo gyud sa mga incoming especially LSIs, no? So grabe kayo yung buhat, and they were risking their lives. Okay, but they were very careful up to now. Kanang atong quarantine, isolate, even in hotels. I got feedback na daily day ang ilang na kay, for example, LSI ka or even a visitor naka-check-in ka sa hotel as a quarantine. Daily kanilang atuon para i-check ang imong temperature, kung saan ka, kung i-monitor ang imong kondisyon. So imagine kung karon mga sobra 200 man tingali atong gi-monitor nga all those quarantine.
Yeah.
Imagine atong mga nurses, atong mga health personnel atuon ra ka just to check how you are.
Yeah.
Grabe kayo ang serbisyo nila og sakripisyo.
Correct.
Kung mahimo magani dungagan pa ng hazard pay, musugot ang atong DBM, di ba?
Yes.
And luckily, wa man ato gi usik-usikan atong kwarta, nagutay sa kaldero pa na kay matilok diha sa kaldero.
Yes.
Di ba? Nakakuha ta from sources. Di mapunta sobra sa atong allowed mo sa atong PS limitation. Mamutong nakahatag ta og the maximum, we give the maximum. And hopefully nalipay itong atong mga empleyado nga serving well. They didn't expect actually. Our employees did not expect to be given hazard pay, but still they had to work.
Yeah.
Muna na ikuan na.
Now, sir, let me ask you, why is it important for the national IATF to give more weight to the inputs and initiatives of the LGUs in the fight against this COVID-19, sir?
Well, nalipay po ko nga muna ilang direction karon. We have been clamoring for that. Tagalog leeway ang LGU because we know the terrain better than they do. No? Kung mahimo, general directives ng ilang ihatag, kita na mo innovate, kita na mo bagay sa ilang directives sa local conditions. Which is the spirit of, genuine local autonomy. Okay? Although we are governed by the national government, tagagon nila respeto ang local governments because that is the spirit of our local government code. General welfare clause, kita may responsible sa locals. Ang code lang yan we have to coordinate with the national para ang ilang directives dili po salungat sa atong mga directives. Okay.
Correct. Now, sir, looking back and as of the moment, what was the most difficult decision that you had to make in the course of the fight against COVID pandemic, and was it worth it?
Well, it's ongoing. Okay, ongoing, and I cannot think of all of the decisions I made were really difficult.
Yeah.
I was just guided by the sincere desire to really to serve, and then there were also calculated risks that we had to take.
Correct.
Okay, I had the IATF to back me up. Di mo to solo nga trabaho. IATF, naay atong City Health, naay atong mga private mga doctors, mga data DTI, may PPA, mga PPA, Philippine Ports Authority helping us, Coast Guard, okay, naatay PNP, collective decision na siya. Naatay matong mga, we consulted our city council. They were also helping me, okay, in crafting ordinances in support of my executive orders. Generally, it was a matter of good, proper coordination. The decision, it's still ongoing. I cannot think of the most difficult because still ongoing. Okay. Maybe in general, you can say the most difficult decision you make is to insist. When you have your decision, you already insist on doing it regardless of what you hear. Because collective naman, once you decide on something, you stand by it. Okay? But be ready to modify, to change it when in the implementation or on the ground, you made the wrong decision. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. But so far, wala pa tayo wrong decision na gihimo ato. Okay. Well, we were lucky. Everything was a matter of first impression yun.
Correct.
Wala pa yung president ba? May nga na president. Puro, all pag yun. Kanang, we were all blind. First timers ta. In other words, virgin ta sa ining or acting like a virgin, first timers ta. But then again, we maintained our composure and our chastity.
Sir, how prepared is the city for the shift to the new normal? How prepared are we?
Well, without the COVID kining vaccine, anti-COVID vaccine, it's still a risk. No? And the new normal, under the new normal, hinay-hinay na ito pasabot ang mga stakeholders. I would give credit to our sectoral desk head, si Albert Aquino, o mga leaders sa mga sectoral groups, like the leaders sa mga Tricycle Drivers Association, sa tempura vendors, sidewalk vendors, mga masus, open sila to accept new challenges. Nakasabot po sila nga if they insist on their usual trade or usual things that they did, dili na makaayo. Importante yun ang prevention of the spread of the virus. They had to sacrifice. Everyone had to sacrifice, cutting down their income. Okay? Kita po ng gobyerno, ato silang gimitin, di sila magutman. And we are doing that. Okay? Pasalamat po ko sa mga private sector for the donations that they gave. No? Unang pag na-donation, hatag po din nato sa mga apektado, especially sa least fortunate. Muto nga, pasalamat po ta. Okay? Both kadaghanan, puro in kind ang ilang donations. So without donations in kind, even our friends from Manila and abroad, they were giving us foodstuff, medical supplies, no? Nga nakatabang nato. Wala gali kay tay gasto sa medical supplies compared to others kay daghan mang nang hatag nato, wa po na kusik-kusiki. No? May pong pagka budget sa atong City Health Office ang mga medical supplies nato.
Sir, thank you very much for your for answering most of the questions that were asked. But for your final thoughts and message for our viewers, sir, maybe you can address them.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. Importante lang, while we take pride or we are thankful for having contained or the spread of COVID-19 and by reason of which zero COVID case na for over a month na. But this doesn't mean we can already relax and celebrate. The war against COVID-19 is not yet over. God forbid, pwede pa ning mo spike or mo balik kung kita magpabaya ta. This is just a warning and advice to all our people that with more vigor, with more enthusiasm, with more dedication, that we observe the 3 protocols, no? Atong karon face mask with face shield, social or physical distancing, o sanitation, ang hugas kamot, every so often og kanang mag-apply ka alcohol kung nakakasagwa, huwag yun ay protocol. Ayaw you do not ever put your guards down. No? Kinanglan, on guard you ka, alert ka 24/7. Kada minuto, conscious ka nga ang virus, yung dili makita, naara na around you. So, your victory is our victory. Because everybody has that in mind, kanang ilang mindset, we will all succeed. Of course, prayers will help, and proper attitude, positive thinking. Dili COVID positive thinking. Kanang negative vibes, forget the negative vibes. Positive lang yung tanan. Kay, dili perfect ang gobyerno nato, but if you think positive, especially in this, focus na sa fighting the spread of COVID, we will all succeed and we will all celebrate when this is over. Okay, I hope and pray that all of you are in the best of health. Okay, nga dili mo masakit, or especially hindi tawataklan ng COVID. And also protect yourselves, no? Meaning don't forget to exercise, eat the proper food. Kay di naman COVID atong kontra po, namo po yung mga, let's say, cardiac arrest o unsa din mga high blood, okay, o kanang unsa pa mga sakit nga killer diseases. Okay, so stay healthy, Dino, stay healthy, keep up the good work.
Yes,
Our
sir.
people, keep
Thank
up
you,
the good work. We rely on your people, you good guys, and have faith in government. Never mind social media lambasting us. Importante nga focus ta. Focus ta, because the truth is always on our side. Okay? Kung limpyo ka, di sa unsaon ka pa pag butang-butang, dili na maka-apekto nimo. Okay? So keep the faith.
Well said, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Well said, sir. Thank you very much. For our viewers, we will be back in our next episode. This is a series of updates about what we're doing in the city and what Mayor Remollo has been implementing, programs and infrastructure developments around the city. And he will be back with us in our next few episodes here at Let's Talk with Dok Dinno. Thank you for being with us, Mayor Remollo. Thank you, our viewers, for sticking with us and watching us. So until then, I'm Dok Dinno. Be safe and be well.
In the Philippines, Dumaguete City was the first to handle 2 COVID-19 cases caused by a Chinese couple from Wuhan who traveled here in the last week of January 2020. With hard work and cooperation, our city's interagency task force, chaired by Mayor Felipe Antonio Remollo, working with the Integrated Provincial Health Office, managed to contain it until it became a national public health emergency in March 9, 2020. Banking on our experience, the city's COVID response has been successful, considering that despite being the gateway to other places in Central Visayas, we have controlled its transmission and the city remains relatively safe from COVID-19. Our COVID-19 response includes launched a 40-bed community isolation center inside a gymnasium, designated hotels, and quarantine facilities, conducted continuous disinfection of public places, hospitals, churches, public market, banks, government offices, and port area, facilitated the repatriation of stranded tourists going to Cebu to board their flights back to their home countries, conducted house-to-house information drive, recorrida, radio spots, press briefings, provided rice subsidy to almost 30,000 households, comprehensive contact tracing, conducted swab testing and rapid diagnostic tests to over 1,000 PUMs and frontliners. To enhance our fight against COVID-19 and mitigate its impact to the people, the city's interagency task force embarked on several initiatives. We have set up 24/7 hotline for COVID-19 related concerns, imposed color-coded quarantine passes to further control travel and movement of people, deployed city's buses and volunteer tricycles for libreng sakay of frontliners and stranded residents, airlifted thousands of PPEs, face masks, gloves, disinfectants, alcohol, and other medical supplies in 5 shipments, provided 2,500 pesos as financial assistance to displaced informal sector workers. Also, we have set up community kitchen to prepare food for health workers, PUM, and other frontliners. Mobile markets were also initiated by the Sangguniang Kabataan and established satellite markets in the barangays. Distributed social amelioration program benefits to 26,000 beneficiaries done in an orderly manner while maintaining social distancing policy. Provided 18.5 million pesos for hazard pay to all frontliners, health workers, and government employees who reported for work during the enhanced community quarantine. Through the concerted efforts of the city's IATF and health workers, with the cooperation of the people, we shall continue to make Dumaguete City safe from COVID-19.